The Gamesir Cyclone 2 controller is now out, and I'm a little late to the party. I understand that, and it's just gonna continue to be this way. Maybe a video coming on that soon. But in any case, why is this my favorite as of now Gamesir controller that has come out, and can I recommend it? And does it have any cons on it at all? We'll talk about all that in today's video plus more. Let's hop into it. Just as a disclaimer, I did get this controller from Gamesir. They sent this out to me for TikTok, but I'm making it over here on the YouTube side of things because, well, I know you guys love this kind of content and I love giving it to you. I love these long form contents. You know, over there on TikTok, I gotta be really quick. It's fun to make videos over there, but I enjoy sitting here in front of the camera looking at my beautiful face because I'm looking at my beautiful face. If you didn't know. Yeah. Anyways, moving on and giving you the breakdown of all this stuff and just letting you know how I feel about these controllers stuff. So as always, I am going to be honest because I always am. And of course, if you want to support the channel, anything you see will be linked in the description below. Appreciate you there. Let's actually hop into the video now and get into the unboxing portion. Oh yeah. So we're going to do some B-roll on screen because you guys and gals have been liking that instead of me taking a whole section and doing unboxing for just, you know what's in the box pretty much. But in any case, in the box, you are going to get the controller itself, which is pretty self-explanatory. You are going to get a braided USB-C to type A high-speed cable. I'm kind of looking like this because I can't remember if it's braided or not, but you're going to see it on screen. I'm kind of like lost there, but in any case, this is a wireless controller, so I don't care a whole lot about it. But if I remember correctly, it was a like white braided, nice kind of USB-C type A cable. You're also going to get in the packaging itself is going to be a USB 2.4 dongle. This is a high-speed dongle, of course, so you can be 100 or you get 1,000 hertz out of the box with this controller being wireless, which is nice to see. And of course, you're going to get the instruction manual. And if you didn't know, there is a bundle option with this where it comes with a charging stand itself. And I got that one sent out to me, which is nice because that's what I wanted. And they sent it. So if you get this one, which is like $10 more, you'll get that with it, which spoiler alert, I recommend doing that. It's $10 more and you have your controller charged without having to plug it into the USB slot. Just why wouldn't you? Right. Speaking about PC switch and all that, let's go ahead and get the connectivity and what this connects to out of the way. It is for technically for Switch and PC. It does work anything Bluetooth, of course, so Android, iOS, anything like that you want to connect it to. It can work on Xbox. I was able to get it to work on Xbox itself, but this took a Magic adapter that I have here. This is the one I used. Other people use like Brooks 3. Some people use Brooks 2. I have a Brooks 2. It doesn't work anymore for me. It is what it is, but if you don't know what that is, I'll link that video at the end. Maybe it's something you want to pick up for your Xbox to be able to use multiple controllers that aren't used for the platform and stuff. There's lots of caveats with it, lots of issues that can happen and go for. But if you like buying different controllers for different platforms like FlyDiggy or Gamesir, that like this or any of those controllers, big one. There's so many different ones out there I've done reviews on, and you want to be able to use them on your Xbox without having to, worry, then check it out. Moving on to key features of the controller itself, we're going to kind of bundle this in this video, trying to see if we can cut these videos down and link themselves. We're going to start with the xyba, of course, which is mechanical. And if I'm going to be honest with you, there is some play in the buttons itself, wiggling back and forth and everything. It's not really bad or really noticeable. And the travel distance in this one, it just feels a little bit more of a traveling distance than, let's say, the FlyDiggy or FlyDigi controller. And, they're not bad. They don't feel horrible or anything like that. But I have to kind of point out some of the cons where I can, because there is a lot of good about this controller. So, you're seeing the B-roll and stuff. You can see the traveling distance and how much it takes to actuate these buttons and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. Staying on the front of the controller itself, you do get a D-pad. Now the D-pad does sound clicky and stuff like that, but I'm really sure it's just a metal plate under here to giving that illusion if it's tactile and stuff. I could be completely wrong there. If I am, let me know in the comments below. But it feels fine. It feels good. It's got a little bit of a lip and a raise to it. As you can see, there's a little bit of a fatter D-pad as well. It's not a dome. I've come to like the domes, by the way, but this one isn't a dome. And it does feel like it's on like a rocker of some sorts, which is kind of making it easier to actuate, in between and all that stuff. And it feels good, as you can just kind of you know, feels good and sounds good when you're pressing them. So even though it's probably a fake metal plate, I'm perfectly fine with that. Moving on to the sticks themselves. These are the TMR sticks that I've talked about in my last video or my previous videos. They've kind of come out with it and stuff. Essentially, these are just upgraded version of Hall effects. They still have Hall effects sensor technology in them, but they're better, they're more responsive, and they take less power, so that you're able to have the controller a lot longer. Gaming, well, I won't say a lot longer, it just adds a little bit more life to your controller, so you don't have to charge it as much. And around the sticks themselves, you do have anti-friction rings. They feel fine, they feel good. I don't really notice a whole lot of friction, maybe near the top of the left one. And if I'm moving this one around, it's perfectly fine, which is actually the most important one if you're playing FPS shooter games on your right one. But in any case, you can, from my understanding, pop these out, and Gamesir actually sells precision rings that you can just kind of slide in there and just kind of customize it yourself. As you see on the controller, it's red, but you do get the option to have different colors and stuff. I have never used them or anything like that, but I think I've seen it on somebody else's channel. I can't remember who it was, but I'm going to link them below just because if you like to customize your controller and stuff, they'll be there. Other buttons on the front of the controller itself is going to be that M button. The M buttons, you know, is to control the controller itself. You can set up different features and stuff on it, which we'll go over a little bit later. You do have like your pause and, you know, back button, or what is it called? I used to call it select and pause. I don't know what the new kids call it on the block. Let me know in the comments below what these are supposed to be called, and I'll get them wrong next video as well. But in case, you do have your home button right here as well, and you do have a little screenshot button there. So if you want to do some screenshotting, I think this works on Switch for screenshotting as well. You can. We'll throw in there as well. You do have a headphone port at the bottom of it, which is nice to see. A lot of controllers coming out nowadays, so starting to stop adding these, and Gamesir just continues to add them, which is nice. I don't use a wired controller, wired headset for the most part, unless I'm testing stuff out. But it's there for you. Let's move to the top of the controller for a second, which is going to be talking about the bumpers and the triggers. And we're going to talk about this right here where my finger is. That little port right there, you see a little cut and grooves on the controller itself. That's just going to be for a cell phone holder. They've never sent me one out or anything like that, but it's there since this works with Android and iOS and stuff like that. And you want to be able to mount your phone up top and play like one of the cool kids walking around, not looking at the road and get hit by a bus. You can do that. So that's there for you. I'll link it below too if you want to grab it or whatever. I don't think it's very expensive at all. I think it's like $10. I could be wrong, but in any case, you'll be able to tell when you go and look. USB-C port right there for charging your controller. If you're going to be that guy or gal that doesn't spend the $10 extra, spend the $10 extra and get the charging dock. I mean, it comes with it. It's going to be ready. It's going to just plug and you can pick a controller up and not have to worry about it ever being wired again. But you can use this wired if you are weird and you want to do that. Then you can do that with the port as well. And then moving on to the bumpers themselves. As you can see on the bumpers, you do have that gold look to them, and they don't have no gripple on the top. They just have it right there on the bottom. Something Gamesir is pretty much just done up to this point. They, for some reason, decided never to listen to me because I always said put them across the top. They don't do that. And then at the bottom too, the triggers themselves, they have some gripple. You can't really see it because of the there you go. You can see the side view now. A little gripple right there on the front of the trigger themselves. I do like the look of the just you kind of seeing inside of it and stuff, giving it a different look than just the typical always, you know, whatever, the solid color so you don't see what's going on. I like how you can kind of see in there. There's not a whole lot going on. To be 100% honest with you, when I'm looking at it, all I see was a bunch of plastic inside. So I don't know if that was a good thought process or not there, but in any case, it's cool. What I'm super excited about and what I've talked about in the past on almost every Gamesir controller, except for Tarantula, because they did it themselves, is trigger stops. This controller has it. You just don't see them unless you look real closely. Do you see them? Let me know in the comments if you see them before I point them out. And don't know who they are because you already have the controller or you watch like 15 other people's videos. How many videos do you watch of a controller? I'm curious. Side note for a second. If I want to know who's like me, before I purchase something, I'll come here to YouTube and I'll watch a video and then I'll watch like 15 of the same item, already knowing I'm going to purchase the item, but for some reason self-consciously, and I know why it is, it just kind of, you know, I want to learn everything I can about the purchase before I make it, of course. But I watch like 15 different YouTubers on the same item, and they all say the same thing pretty much, you know. But we, for some reason, we just like the different styles of how they do it and stuff. Just like I have my personal style here on YouTube. Kuda has his personal style here on YouTube. Evan, the captain, has his own style here on YouTube. We all have our own styles, and which makes us unique, even though we talk about a lot of the same things, just because that's, I mean, there's only so many things you can talk about the controller, personal use and all that. But in any case, I'm curious, do you do what I mean? Are you like me? I watch like 15 things, different YouTubers before I buy a product, especially like a big person like the Elgato prompter right here, or the Elgato Stream Deck, or this 34-inch. I got a 34-inch ultra widescreen here that I just bought on Black Friday. I love it, by the way. But in any case, moving on, side rant complete. The trigger stops, they're right there. Do you see them? Oh, let me move to the side. You see that? You see them right there? Yep. I'll probably put some B-roll up of it as well. But those are the trigger stops themselves. You just flick it on. You hear a click, you're engaged. And what that does is this gives you mouse triggers. ASMR, please. But yeah, they have mouse triggers on them and stuff. The triggers themselves are awesome. Really, really good mouse clicky triggers in my personal opinion, on par with like Flydiggy, or the Tarantula has them as well. Mouse clicky triggers, and their trigger stops are right there on the back of the controller, which is going to be a con for me on this controller is I don't like where they're placed at. I feel like they're inconveniently placed. I understand what they're probably going for, not putting them on the back, because, you know, who really moves back and forth and between games and stuff, switching triggers from mouse clickies to like the Hall effects or like racing game and stuff like that. But I just don't like them because there is kind of a little bit of tension there, and I got to get my fingernail underneath it. And when I trim my nails, it's only going to be harder for me to do. So I kind of wish they would have just kept them on the back, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But in any case, they're there. I'm happy they're there, and it definitely adds to the controller in every good way possible other than the placement. So there are rumble motors in the controller themselves. It does, like I said earlier in the video, is a 1000 hertz pulling rate with the dongle itself, and you do get 6-axis gyro motion control with this controller and stuff. The in-app itself seems like there's an update coming out or something where you can have control over and everything, which we'll talk about when we get into the app side of things. But there is 2 buttons on the back of it as well, and then they're just being thrown in because, well, every Gamesir controller coming out except for the useless T7, and it's useless in the fact that I don't use it because it's just a very plain Jane controller. But if somebody doesn't have an adapter for their Xbox and they want a plug and play Xbox controller with Hall effects sensors, honestly, in my personal opinion, $20-something is actually a pretty good price for just a typical controller plugging up to your Xbox. Plug and play comes with game pads and Hall effects sensors. I don't really know of another controller that has lower price point for Hall effects sensors for Xbox plug and play. That's just my personal opinion. I didn't do a video on this channel of that controller, by the way, just because it would be a 3-minute video. If you do want to see that video, feel free to drop that comment below. I'll maybe make it. Maybe I'll do a short on it, or I'll just post a TikTok I did over on TikTok over here. In any case, let me know. At the beginning of the video and throughout the video, I was talking about the different options for the controller and stuff. There is a black option versus the white option. I went with the white option this time, just because I have lots of black controllers. I just wanted to look a little bit different and go with the white. I gotta be honest with you, I think this looks really good though. I like the way it looks, but the black one looks good as well. And in any case, I would have been happy if they would have sent me that. But this one comes with the dock stand. I got the charging dock stand. Again, I'm gonna recommend you get it. I mean, let's put that on there the right way. You know, you just get it and it's there and it sits like that. You're not losing a USB slot on your PC using this, because there's that there, which I don't know who started doing that. You know, I think one of the first times I saw it was like Big Juan. But whoever made that is just, you know, good jobs. Kudos to them. But you know, it's $10 extra versus, you know, you spend $10 more. You know what I mean? So in my personal opinion, get it. Again, it's gonna be linked below if you are looking at this and stuff like that. Moving on. All right, so we're gonna talk about the app here for a minute. I'm literally about to test this controller out and figure out, just get on here and talk about the app. They're pretty much all the same. here on the PC side. Now this is just a PC app from my understanding. You might have available on the Android as well. I'll post that up if it is available. But this is pretty much your overview of it. Here to the left of my screen, you can see that you have control over your lights and stuff like that, and you can control the brightness, the speed, everything like that. I'm assuming these are going to be just your profiles right here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can set those up to be pretty much how you want on the profile. So when you're going through and everything, you can kind of know what your profile is as well. And it probably blinks up here, like you know what profile you're in as well. All right, so right here you have your triggers, dead zones and stuff. So I'm gonna keep my triggers personally because I'm playing some FPS shooter games here to test the controller out, and I want the clicky triggers, so they're going to stay there. But you can control your dead zones from here, where you can bring these all the way down if you want to. Word of advice, if you do that, just be careful, because yes, you'll get a quicker response time. But if you bring it all the way down and you're resting your fingers on your triggers while you're running around, you might accidentally get some actuation, especially if you're playing with vibration on, rumble motors on, whatever you want to call it. So just be careful of that. We're gonna come over here to the right side real quick, and over here you can see you have motion and all that. It's coming soon. It's not even here yet, evidently. So whatever that means, I'm assuming they're gonna have some motion, you know, in the controller here soon. And then down here you have your button layout and stuff. Now you can click on here and get a full screen and stuff like that. As you can see here, I'll bring me over here just so you can kind of see. And right here, you can see you have control over all your buttons and stuff. So right here, if I want to come in here and set this up to Call of Duty, for example, I would. Those are my buttons I would use if you're wondering. You do have other buttons too. You can set any of these buttons up to whatever you want. And if you want to set these back buttons up to even more buttons, you can come here to advanced settings and just come through here and do numeric. You can set to pretty much anything, which is cool because, you know, a lot of people like to get these controllers and use them for streaming and stuff. So maybe you don't use back buttons to play games, but if you're a streamer and you want to switch between scenes and stuff like that, you can use the back buttons to do so. Like have a BRB or go to your full screen to chat with your chat or whatever, you know, whatever it's called, intermission screen. So you can do any of that kind of stuff there. You can set macros up, it looks like right here as well, which is nice to see. All right, so from here, if you want to go to the top, you can come up here, hit sticks, and over here to your left side of your screen, you just see you have more control over it, just a little bit bigger screen than where you were at before. And just real quick to show you something, circle and raw, this is for circularity tests. I'm going to show you that in a little bit, but pretty much essentially all you need to know is you only have this far to reach out. If you go to raw, your reaching goes further. That's essentially all it is. In this, you have 0% on your circularity test. And in this, you can be anywhere from 8 to like 14%. That's okay because you're reaching further. That's why the circularity is a little bit wider there. So just keep that in mind. You can come over here to triggers themselves, set it up. Same thing as we looked at it before on the other screen. And then you vibrations. I turn these off simply to combat the hackers in Call of Duty because my Cronus Matt. Moving on. And you have your light mode here as well. Over here at the very top, as you can see above my beautiful head, you have a firmware update. You can click on that to do that. You can reset the controller from right here. You can do the button test if you want to go in here and test your buttons and stuff like that. And this will take you home, of course. Easy peasy lemon squeezing.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
And then if you go back to the home page, it's pretty much all the same what we just looked like. You just didn't see this middle part. We'll look at that right now. Right here is your reporting rate. It's automatically out of the box at 1,000. Keep it there. I don't even know why the other two are available, to be 100% honest with you. If you do, let me know in the comments below. And then just down here is this, you know, your stuff right here. And then over here, you have profiles. You can switch to your profiles and stuff. And as you can see, there's lights on the controller, as you see right here. And I'll show you as well to indicate what profile you are on. If you come over here to the testing of the buttons and stuff like that, if you hold the M button and then hit any button like the X, you now have turbo mode on. Okay, you got to hold the button for a second. But if you hold the button, you can see now that you have the first layer of turbo mode on. And if you do it again, it's going to switch it to the second layer, which is the faster mode. Should have just done this in the other app online, so it wouldn't keep switching back and forth. And if you hit it again, it's just going to go to your fastest mode, which is right there. And then if you hit it again, it's just going to reset it, and then you won't have it on there anymore. Okay, so we're here at the circularity test side of it and the sticks drift side of it real quick, you can see it's at 0, but honestly it's only at 0 and it's not moving at all is because our sticks right here are at 10%. So I'm going to bring these down to 2%. I believe that's going to be a pretty good place for them to be at, and it should reflect right here. And actually, even with that, it looks like they're still like dead center, not even moving. I got no actuation on them at all moving wise. So that's really good. It automatically saves. So I'm going to bump these down to 0s now just for kicks and giggles. And there you go. You can see it's moving slightly. So if I were to bring these up to 1 or 2, like I said, that's probably going to be the sweet spot. Yeah. So you can kind of see they're just so slightly moving. So take that for what it's worth. If you want to use 1%, I think you would be fine with it. If you want to use 2%, I think you'll be fine with it. Now, every controller could be different. Every stick could be different. Doesn't mean it's going to be the same for you, but it should be pretty similar if I were to take a wild guess at it. Speaking of sticks and everything else, I just went ahead and slid some PlayStation 5 control freaks over the controller itself for the sticks. So if you want to pick those up or the controller, again, make sure you check the links below. Support the channel. I appreciate you there. If you get value out of this video and you like the video, make sure you like the video. It helps the algorithm out, helps me get views and stuff like that, and just helps support the channel. It's free. And while you're down there, subscribe. So let's talk about the pros versus the cons of the controller for a second. I mean, really the pros, you've heard a lot of them. Mechanical buttons, TMR sticks, multiple, different compatibility when it comes to like Switch and everything else. And if you get a adapter, Xbox even, the D-pad feels pretty good in my personal opinion. And, just coming with a charger station and everything with it in the box, if you go that route, is great to see. Cons in the controller, slight play in the mechanical buttons, and, the trigger stops themselves is going to be my biggest one, just how they're placed and stuff like that. But honestly, at the end of the day, this controller is great. Like, I haven't had no issues with it. One thing I didn't really bring up, I'll bring up here at the end of the video. You kind of see I have it hooked up and everything, is RGB lights. And of course you can control that in the app itself and all that good stuff. You probably just heard the beep on the thing. But I think in the next generation of controllers, just moving these trigger stops and stuff will be great. Tighten down the buttons themselves on the front of for the actuation will be even better. I think at the end of the day, if you're looking for an like pro-ish, a pro style Gamesir controller, I think they finally kind of almost hit the head on the nail. It's almost like, I hit the head on the nail. I hit the nail on the head, but it slipped off and kind of dinked my finger for a little bit, just because they don't have 4 back buttons on the controller. We have to see that for pro controllers, in my personal opinion, or add 2 up top and take this away, because I don't know if a lot of people using this. I could be wrong there, or add it under. I have no idea, but I want to see 4 buttons itself. But in any case, at the end of the day, yes, 100%, this controller is awesome. One of my favorite controllers. I can recommend this controller from a user experience. I've loved playing with it and stuff. Again, if you want to support the channel and help the channel out, the controller and everything will be linked in the description below. Again, if you want to check that out. But if you want to check out one of the other controllers I did here on the channel, or you want to check out the adapter I was talking about for the Xbox itself, you can check out these videos over here. Go Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. I don't even know if I finished out the video.